What is going on? A to Z Sports, Sam Phelan here with you to talk a little NFL draft as we are less than 1 week away from the NFL draft getting underway and the Tennessee Titans landing their future quarterback with the number one overall pick. Now, as excited as Titans fans might be for Cam Ward to officially become a Titan and hear his name called on draft day in Green Bay, the real intrigue of the draft is not what happens at number one, but what happens on day two, Friday of draft weekend for Tennessee. Mike Borgonzi is all about accruing extra draft picks. And one of the things the Titans don't have is a lot of high-end top 100 draft picks. After they select at number 35 overall, the Titans will have to wait out a 68 pick gap from 35 to 103 before they get to pick again. Now, that's not going to cut it for Mike Borgonzi and crew. They are not content with their current situation of draft picks. And so getting another top 100 pick feels like it's a priority for the Titans. Here are the three ways, the three realistic ways they can make that happen if they are so motivated to do it during the 2025 NFL draft. And some of them you might not see coming. Before we get into the list, I'm going to tell you about my friends over at Lipskum University. They're making, this video happen, all of this content happen, helping us out before the NFL draft in the Lipskum Sport Analytics Department. That's where data meets the game, where you can analyze, strategize, and revolutionize over at Lipskum by turning your passion into a profession. That's what I did. I'm a Lipskum graduate. I had a passion for sports and went to college at Lipskum and turned it into a profession in sports. They can help you do the same and take you beyond the box score with game-changing insights and career-defining skills. So get off the sidelines and into the action with Lipskum's Sport Analytics program. It's where you will make the calls that count. At Lipskum, they're not just watching the game, they're changing how it's played. Again, Lipskum University, right here in Nashville, Sport Analytics Department. Okay, three ways the Titans can get a top 100 pick. And really, primarily, I'm looking at a third rounder, right? What is the most realistic way for the Titans to get a third round pick that can help them fill that void, help them bridge that gap? We know they've done top 30 visits with a number of players that are in that 50 to 100 range on the consensus big board that are likely to go somewhere in the third round. And it's a bit peculiar to see the Titans doing so much research on players in the top 100 when they don't have the picks to draft them in the top 100. So let's assume they're going to go get a pick. Number one, it's the easiest way here. You trade down from 35. Simple. We've seen teams do this in the past. The Arizona Cardinals are the most recent example. They had the 35th pick. They moved back 8 or 10 spots. They grabbed a pick in the 70s as a result and were able to get right there in the third round and sort of kill two birds with one stone. So maybe Tennessee taking a quarterback first overall feels like they want both a wide receiver and an edge rusher, two positions of need that they'd like to address both of them. If you trade back from 35, you could potentially grab enough picks to do both in the top 100 and get starting caliber players in what is, at least at edge, a very deep draft class. That is the easiest one. That is the most likely one. And I'm going to go in order of likelihood to happen. That's what I'm going for. Number two, it's going to be trading Will Levis, but not straight up, right? It's going to be packaging Will Levis with a future pick in order to get in the third round. Dorian Thompson-Robinson and a fifth round pick is the return that the Philadelphia Eagles got from Cleveland for Kenny Pickett. Now, in my eyes, Will Levis is more valuable than Kenny Pickett. There is still sort of the shadow of a doubt with Levis that what you're seeing is still a small enough sample size that you could convince yourself and sell yourself on the upside. He did have a chunk of games in 2024, that were highly productive, above average quarterback play games. The bad games were really bad, and the turnovers were a problem, and it was not the linear growth that Titans fans were hoping to see from Levis, hence why he's on his way out and Ward is on his way in. But the tools that he was drafted for are still there, and I think there is more upside with Levis than there is with Kenny Pickett. So if Pickett is netting the Eagles a fifth rounder and a player, I think it is safe to assume that Levis has the value of at least a 5th round pick. At least a 5th round pick. So look at some of these teams that are in the market for a mid-round quarterback. Maybe they're looking at Will Howard. Maybe they're looking at Kyle McCord. I look at teams like the Dolphins. I look at teams like Seattle, Arizona, maybe. Somebody who could use an addition to the quarterback room, but isn't looking for a starter, doesn't already have a high upside backup on their roster. Those are the teams that I think are in the market for Will Levis. And if you're the Titans, I think you try to go your 5th round pick and Will Levis. That's a 5th rounder and a player that we think is worth a 5th rounder and maybe a little bit more. And you try and sneak into the back end of the 3rd. I think that could work. I think that could be the answer for the Titans to get a little creative, take a player in Levis who you don't plan on using at all this season, giving him to a team that can find value in him, and you grab a 3rd round pick to address a need. I like that a lot, especially the Titans are sitting with 2 4ths. And since you have 2 4s, I don't think you need that 5th. You feel better about the 5th because you have 2 4s and you can always trade out of one of those 4s. So a 5th plus Levis, get yourself a 3rd. That's option number 2. Option number 3 is Jeffrey Simmons being traded. I've brought this up multiple times now, but all 5 of these top 30 visits with defensive tackles for the Titans, Cam Jackson, Omar Norman-Lott, Darius Alexander, TJ Sanders, Vernon Broughton, they're doing a lot of due diligence on the defensive tackles, especially guys that could go day 2 or early day 3. So if the right suitor is out there, if the right call is made for Jeff, somebody saying, hey, we'll give you our 2nd round pick at the end of the 2nd round for Jeff, or an early 3rd round pick for Jeff. Maybe it's a 3rd and a future pick. You get cheaper, you get younger, you draft a replacement for him in the 4th round, and you get your 3rd round pick. Those to me are the 3 most likely scenarios. 3 players and trade assets that the Titans could use to actually make this happen. And I think they're motivated. I'll make a prediction right now that one of these 3 things is going to happen for the Titans over the next week. The easiest one, of course, is trading out of 35. But as we have seen in recent NFL history, teams sort of fall in love with the idea of pairing their young quarterback. When they take a swing at quarterback, they like to take a swing at wide receiver in the same offseason. Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze, Bryce Young and Jonathan Mingo, Kenny Pickett and George Pickens, Trevor Lawrence and a big bag for Christian Kirk, Joe Burrow and T. Higgins. How many of those 4 out of those 5 scenarios are a team that take a quarterback and they use their 2nd draft pick on a wide receiver? With that, and that's always the first quarterback off the board, right? If you take the first quarterback off the board, 4 out of the last 5 times, they've used their 2nd draft pick on a wide receiver to pair with him. So while 35, trading down from 35 is the most likely scenario of the 3, if a Luther Burden or a Mecca Egbuka sits there at 35, or you really like Trey Harris, that might be a situation where the Titans get a little bit carried away with the idea of pairing Ward with another player, and they don't feel comfortable trading down from their spot, in which case you have to have backup plans in order. Will Levis with a later round pick to maybe get into the 3rd, a Jeffrey Simmons trade also on the table. We'll see what they do. And this, to me, as I said off the top, is where the real intrigue of the Titans draft is at right now. Waiting for Cam Ward's name to be called and waiting to see who is available at 35 and what do the Titans do when they are on the clock on Friday evening. All right, that's all I got today here on A to Z Sports. Don't forget to check out all of our written coverage as well leading up to the NFL draft. Till next time, tighten up.